So it's finally here, the brand new Super Sentai series of 2023, Ohsama Sentai King-Ohger, and I just got done watching the very first episode, and overall, I really enjoyed it. I mean, this episode left a strong impression of me. I kind of dodged Twitter all day to avoid spoilers, and I waited for the subs to go live, and the subs went live, and I checked out the episode, and I had a really fun time watching it. I think visually, this show looks great, and from what we've met with the characters so far, I like him. I really like him. I think this show looks really good visually, and from what we've met with the characters so far, I'm liking them already. Some of them, they're probably going to get fleshed out in the next upcoming episodes, because this first episode was mostly a Red-focused episode, seeing him get his powers, but this episode you also did get to meet the other Rangers from their different kingdoms, and kind of learn about their personalities from what we saw in the previews and stuff like that, and sort of learn what they're about, but they didn't get too much of a focus in this episode. Like, I want to say, like, the two other ones that maybe got a bit of spotlight was, like, maybe blue, black, and yellow. Purple didn't do much, unfortunately. There was this one weird scene with Purple when they spoke during the roundtable discussion, and it's because Purple has that giant sort of cloth covering their face, and they went to speak, and it was mumbled, and I don't know if that's sort of like their them talking, bouncing off the material and sort of back into the mic, and that's why it sounded a little bit muffled. That could be me, but I swear when they spoke, it just sounded really weird, and it sounded like the reverb bouncing like back from what they speak into the mic, which I'm surprised they didn't like dub it in the booth, which is also like weird. But is it just me that caught that, or am I imagining things? But like I said, Black you kind of see in his kingdom, you kind of get a glimpse of what he's like. He got a bit of screen time. Blue had some moments as well in this episode, because he was the one that tried sort of using the mech and it didn't work, and then when you see Gira using the mech, he's like the one watching in the distance, and he looks annoyed, so it looks like there's going to be a rivalry between them. And then you've got Yellow, when you see a character that Red's attached to, that Gira's attached to, it looks like she's about to die. She does jump in there and say, "We can save her, it's not too late." So you kind of learn about that medical expertise that she's got. And like I said, Purple didn't do much for this episode, and Black as well. Like I said, Black had that one moment in his kingdom where you kind of learn what he's about, but those characters like mostly got sort of like the most screen time, and they sort of had like not the most lines, but like you sort of learn what they're about, and I'm sure the other Rangers will get fleshed out as well. Now, like I said, this episode was more of a Red Ranger focused episode where we learn about Gira and kind of get his driving force on how he becomes a Red Ranger in this episode, and Gira has made a strong first impression of me. I don't know what everyone else has thought of him so far. I haven't checked Toku Twitter or online that much to see what everyone else is saying about him, but he seems like a fun, goofy guy, and from what I've seen so far, I like him, because you get that opening scene where he's sort of playing pretend with all the children, and there's that female companion he's got, and she's sort of sarcastically playing along, and he does care for like the people around his kingdom, where he stops those people from getting haggled from people trying to collect tax. And then when he sees sort of the kingdom being invaded, because the king, the proper king, sort of brings all the countries together, and then they get invaded, and I might be getting this wrong, it depends on how I interpret it from what I saw with my subs, but he wanted to gather everyone together, so when the Bugnarok invaded, it would wipe them out, so that way he could take over their kingdoms, because they wouldn't have a ruler. So it sounded like that was his like grand master plan the whole time, and you can see that that original king was a douchebag, because like I said, when his own kingdom's getting invaded, everyone else is fighting and protecting that kingdom and protecting the people, and he's just sitting back there chilling. And that's when Gira confronts him saying, "Hey, what are you doing?" And that's when we learned about his grand master plan, because he sort of wants to probably control the King-Ohger mech for himself, and sort of probably take over the kingdoms by awakening it. So this guy's a douchebag, and he's probably going to be one of the main antagonists of the show, since at the end of the episode he does want Gira executed for defying the king. But yeah, Gira's whole motivation, where he calls himself an evil king, is really interesting, because like I said, the douchebag king, whatever his name is, says, like, if I have to sacrifice like women and children and stuff like that, that's in the name of justice to get what I want. And Gira says, if you're doing that for justice, then I'm going to fight justice, and that makes me evil. So he sort of has that big hero speech that he gives where he says, I am Gira, I'm the evil king, and I'm going to fight against you. And that's when he gets his powers and awakens. Not only that, awakens the Kawakata mech, which looks really freaking cool. I will say, the King-Ohger mech looks really freaking sweet. We saw it in Don Brothers, and it looked really cool here. Seeing it here, fight in its own proper mech fight scene, looked really great as well, seeing it in action. And I really got a kick out of it, seeing it fighting, and I can't wait to see where it's going to go next, or how it's going to fight next. I'm wondering if we're going to get an explanation how and why it showed up in Don Brothers, but I'm guessing not. Maybe they'll tie it into like a movie or something like that, like with Gokaiger appearing in the Shinkenger movie, where they use the Time Ranger powers to show up. But I'm wondering if there's going to be like one episode or one special or something where it gets summoned into sort of that dimension where the mech fights in Don Brothers, and it just happens. So maybe we'll get that explained later down the line. But the mechs look cool, I will say that. They look really freaking sweet. Now, in this episode, you also get to hear the opening theme song during the mech battle, and I did hear the opening theme song earlier because I believe it's out on Spotify and it's out on YouTube, so I've listened to it, and it sounds really fun. It sounds like a really fun opening. Someone said on Twitter that it sounds more like an anime opening than a Toko opening or a Sentai opening, and I agree. It sounds very anime-ish with sort of how the tune of the song goes, the pace of it, where it keeps speeding up and speeding up. I don't think there's like a lyrics translation of the song yet, so I don't know what they're exactly saying in it, but they don't sort of like repeat like the name of the Sentai over and over again. I think you hear it maybe at the end, if I remember correctly, but overall it's like a really upbeat tune, and I enjoy it. I'm curious to see what visuals they'll slap with it when episode 2 airs next week. But overall, what do I think of episode 1 of King-Ohger? I think it was a pretty good episode. I think it set up like the main lore and the plot of the episode with the Bugnora coming back. We'll be meeting our villains next week as well that we saw in like the promotion. And like I said, it's going to be a red and blue focused episode, probably more of a blue focused episode. But from what we saw in the first episode, I really enjoyed. Like, I think we got a good grasp on what our Red Ranger is about, and I'm sure the other kings from their kingdom will meet later down the line, and we'll sort of learn to get to know them better. But I like them all so far, but I think it's blue I like and black I like so far. Yellow and purple I like as well, but I feel like I want to get to know them a little bit more in other episodes. So although I'm saying I do like blue and black so far, that could change if they do something like douchey in the TV show. Like, we'll see what happens, But overall, I thought this was a really great first episode. Left a really strong impression on me, and I'm definitely going to keep watching it and seeing where the show goes moving forward. But anyway, guys, what did you think of King-Ohger episode 1? Love it, hate it. I'm sorry if this review / recap is kind of a bit of a mess. I mean, it's the first episode, so I'm trying to gather my thoughts. I did write down notes, but I don't think I followed them all correctly or followed them at all. But yeah, tell me what you guys thought of the first episode of this series, and yeah, we'll see what happens moving forward with the show. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day or night, and I will see you guys later. Peace out, take care. Thanks for watching.